Testing. I think I'm live. All right. I'll be right there. I gotta pull up this counter app. Let's see if there's a counter app here. Oh, perfect. Simple counter. Oh, that's silly. Okay. You know what? Good enough is good enough. Okay. Yes, there it is. All right. Perfect. Oh, that could have been good enough. Yes. Uh, This key light is really good. This key light is like really, really, really good. No wonder why people talk about it so much. There we go. All right, I'll be right back. Man, this light is legitimate. That's a legit light. Okay, welcome back to the live stream. My name is Gabriel Sarah, and today is my birthday. Today I turn 37 years old, and I don't feel old. I don't feel so old. I just judge myself for not being successful, right? What does that mean? Well, that's subjective, but in my head, I have an image of what success is. No, it doesn't necessarily mean Lamborghini and private jet. That doesn't mean successful, but I think success for me means having or doing some form of work that I'm very happy with and fulfilled with. It pays me well, and I feel like I have a decent amount of control in every area of my life, you know? But here I am, and I am going to dedicate today's live stream to just being really grateful on my birthday. It doesn't help to be in any other pessimistic way. I'm really grateful that I get to do this. And just a disclaimer, you can read through it yourself, pause the live stream. And also, I also want to invite you to this open invite. If you're new to EFT Tapping and you want to do a guided session with me on the morning live stream, leave a comment in the chat and I will reply to you with a Zoom link. I will reply to you with a Zoom link. It is first come, first served. There you go. And now, the big deal for today. We're going to be tapping. So if today is your birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Pull out the streamers and the confetti. Happy birthday to you. If it's not your birthday, but you still want to tap because you feel grateful, then by all means, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. I'm going to get started. Let's do the thing. And let's get to work here. Okay. Yes. Okay, cool. Okay. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful I woke up this morning. I'm grateful I told God, hey, give me another day. Yeah, there you go. Okay, better. I'm grateful that the key light that I ordered yesterday came in. I'm grateful I have the webcam. I'm grateful I have the microphone. I'm grateful for the keyboard. I'm grateful for the tech equipment. I'm grateful that I have Hema, my beautiful partner, who I love dearly. I'm very grateful for my kids. I'm very grateful today we go for a gynecological checkup for Hema and baby number 2, just to make sure everything's okay. I'm grateful for my beautiful daughter, Soraya, and I'm grateful that I have a special soul that I truly love that little girl. I truly love her, and I'm so grateful for my daughter. I'm so grateful that we live on a mountain. I'm very grateful that we live in a very quiet area, and that is really helpful for me. so that way I can just do my work or try to do my work. I'm very grateful I printed out a picture of myself and put it on the webcam underneath the webcam tripod. So that way I remind myself who I'm talking to. I'm grateful for my scarf. I'm grateful for my clothes. I'm grateful I bought this jumpsuit for like 30 euros, which is great. I'm grateful that I'm going to give myself a haircut today. I'm grateful I'm going to trim my beard. I'm grateful that we're going to go out today for my birthday. I'm grateful that we're going to eat some food. I'm grateful that we're going to do some groceries. I'm grateful we're going to pick up the packages. I'm grateful for the tech equipment that I have. I'm grateful that I do have things that I enjoy and I look forward to. And I'm very grateful that Pam and I would watch the movie with Jim Carrey, Me, Myself, and Irene. I'm very grateful for Mother Mary. I'm very grateful for the rose quartz crystal. I'm very grateful for the falcon feathers. I'm very grateful that one day I was just looking outside and as I was walking outside one day over this past summer, I saw a whole bunch of feathers, and I think they're falcon feathers. So that's pretty cool. And I'm very grateful that the falcons do live up here on this mountain, which is really nice to see. I'm grateful for this big desk. I'm very grateful for the clothes that I have. I'm very grateful for the food I eat every day. I'm very grateful for the kettlebells that I have. I'm very grateful that I did work out yesterday after I did the EFT tapping on not being motivated to work out. And I'm very grateful that I made myself change my perceptions and my beliefs. I'm very grateful that I've been EFT tapping every day since October in the morning. I'm very grateful that one day it just came to me to start recording videos of me and documenting me doing the EFT tapping. So I'm grateful that I started doing that. I'm very grateful that I have the light off here and I'm still able to like be very visible with this key light. Oh my God. There is totally a reason why they, when I say they, YouTubers talk about the Elgato key light, which is really nice. I'm very grateful the Stream Deck comes in today. And I'm very grateful that I'm going to learn how to use that. And I'm grateful that I'm going to learn how to make videos without zero post editing. I'm very grateful for the iPad. I'm very grateful that I have the M1 MacBook. I'm very grateful that it's eventually time to upgrade. I'm very grateful for this website, Simple Counter app, which allows me to do a counter. I'm very grateful for this year. I'm very grateful for 2025. I'm very grateful that this was a very dynamic year of my life. I'm very grateful that at 36 years old, now 37, I have 2 kitties, and I couldn't be more grateful and feel more blessed for that. I'm very grateful for technology. I'm very grateful for how advanced technology is today and how fast it is advancing. And I'm very grateful that we can connect with anyone all over the world. I'm very grateful that YouTube has done such a huge job in getting its name out there, because that benefits people like me. And I'm very grateful that I am aware that I'm not going to put my full sovereignty and put all my cards into YouTube, because I think that would be very stupid, considering YouTube always is changing its policies and its algorithms. I'm very grateful for this dongle that I have, which helps me connect the accessories that I need to use to do this live stream. I'm very grateful that this computer is slowing down, which signals to me that, hey, it may be time to get a new computer. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'm very grateful because I was intending to do it anyway at some point. I'm very grateful that I have a life operating system. I'm very grateful that I spent the last year of my life, the last 13 months of my life, building a life operating system that aligns me to my true north. I have a compass now. I know where I'm going. I know what I want to accomplish by the time I'm dead. I'm very grateful that ChatGPT is a tool that I use every day, and I'm very grateful that artificial intelligence is advancing, and I'm very grateful that because artificial intelligence is advancing so fast, it's making my life very easy. It's making my life so much easier. And I'm very grateful that AI is cutting down the amount of time spent in front of the computer and working a lot. I'm saving at least 200 to 300 hours a month, which is insane. I don't even know. Yeah, I'm saving a lot of time, basically. And I'm very grateful that I'm able to not necessarily do more to fill that time, but I'm very grateful that I'm able to live a balanced life. I'm very grateful that I wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm very grateful that I have the smart wake up light. And I'm very grateful that I wake up, brush my teeth, wash my face, and then I hop on the live stream. I'm very grateful that I made live streaming the number one deep work for me, the number one thing that I do. And I'm grateful that I feel accomplished after I do each live stream. I'm very grateful that watch time is increasing on YouTube. I'm very grateful that, hey, even though people aren't subscribing, people are definitely watching. And I'm very grateful that this is just live streams. And I'm very grateful that I understand now that live streams are for when you have subscribers and community and you have people that want to really connect with you on a much deeper level, because obviously it's a time investment. And I'm very grateful that I understand that this is a time investment for people. Even if people are watching this for free, it is still a time investment. And I'm very grateful that I understand that having time is a gift. And I'm very grateful that I understand that time is precious. And I'm very grateful that I've had the experiences in life that I've had. I'm very grateful that I was homeless when I was 12 years old. I'm very grateful that I've had experiences in life that have made me who I am today. I'm very grateful for God. I'm very grateful for Mother Mary. I'm very grateful for Jesus. I'm very grateful for Saint Germain. I'm very grateful for my spirit guides. I'm very grateful for the Ascended Masters of the highest vibrational frequency and consciousness who love and support me unconditionally. I'm very grateful for Master Babaji. I'm very grateful for Master Ganesha. I'm very grateful for Goddess Lakshmi. I'm very grateful for my subconscious mind. I'm very grateful for my body. I'm very grateful for my hands. I'm very grateful for my fingers. I'm very grateful for my muscles. I'm very grateful for my skin. I'm very grateful for my organs. I'm very grateful for my health and well-being. I'm very grateful for my legs. I'm very grateful for my feet. I'm very grateful for my toes. I'm very grateful that despite everything, at 37 years old, I think I look all right. And I'm very grateful that I make taking care of my health and well-being a priority the best that I can. I'm very grateful for the food I get to eat every single day. I'm very grateful that I have some cash in the bank. I'm very grateful that I'm able to pay the rent for this house. I'm very grateful that even though I don't have all the cash, it doesn't really matter so much. It matters to an extent, but not so much at this stage of my life. I'm very grateful that I'm really focusing in on my personal peace, and I'm very grateful that I'm using EFT as a tool to help me get more at peace with myself. I'm very grateful I'm not spiritually bypassing and I'm doing my best to confront everything. I'm very grateful that I have been able to live stream every day. I'm very grateful for the internet that I have. I'm very grateful that the internet that I have allows me to live stream. And I'm very grateful that this room that I'm in is cold. And I'm very grateful for that because it motivates me to move my ass. And I'm very grateful that, man, this key light is really good. It's like really bright, very simple. I like that. I'm very grateful that I'm going to start doing shorts. I'm very grateful that I'm going to start doing videos. I'm very grateful that I have been creating a operating system to help me mass produce content with AI. And I'm very grateful that I have been studying hooks and scripts and storytelling. I'm very grateful that the lights are off in the room, but the key light is on and it's so bright. And I'm very grateful for this desk pad. I'm very grateful that I had food yesterday. I'm very grateful for our beautiful dog, Mama. I'm very grateful that I trained her to be a therapy dog. I'm very grateful that I get to walk with my family every day around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we get to walk together through the forest, on the mountains. I'm very grateful that I live this kind of a lifestyle. I'm very grateful for that friend who supports me and helps me get it together so that way I can take care of my family for the long term. I'm very grateful that I have been using the technology that I have been using. Gotta turn this down, it's too bright for my eyes. Maybe that's better. I'm very grateful for the technology that I have been using. I'm very grateful that I get to teach my kids certain things that I did not know. I'm very grateful that I'm going to teach my kids about business and reading cash flow statements because that is incredibly important. Let me put up the brightness on this guy just a bit. Let's see how this goes. Wow. Wow. I'm very grateful for this 4K webcam. I'm very grateful that the quality of this 4K webcam is really good. I'm very grateful that the green light on this webcam just reminds me to look at the camera, right? And I'm very grateful that I get to practice my public speaking skills quite often, every single day. I'm very grateful that I'm just doing the reps. I'm very grateful I get to do the reps every day. And I'm very grateful that I am becoming the type of person who is incredibly consistent. And I'm very grateful that I actually did let go of that YouTube channel from years ago, even if it did grow to 7,000 or 15,000 subscribers, because that was inauthentic to me. I'm very grateful that I'm becoming more authentic and more true to myself and how I feel. I'm very grateful that I am honoring what's inside of me. I'm very grateful. Damn, only 154. Oh, shit. Okay, we got a while to go. I'm very grateful for this post-it note pack that I have. I'm grateful for the pen that I have. I'm grateful that I have like this towel to wipe my nose whenever my nose runs. I'm very grateful for the psychedelics that I've been able to take to help me transform my consciousness. I'm very grateful for Hape. I'm very grateful for the Rapes that I have. I'm very grateful for the Karipe that I have. I'm very grateful that I have been giving myself Hape in the morning after I work out and just before I do deep work. I'm very grateful that I got the the hair clippers so I can give myself a proper haircut, because I'm not going to go into town and get a haircut, even though I'm going to go into town today. I'm very grateful for this thermal suit that I have on, because it keeps me pretty warm. Oh, it's cold. I'm very grateful that Hema gave me this necklace when she did. Test. Test. Okay. Yeah, I'm very grateful for the internet. I'm very grateful that the internet has advanced as much as it has. No, that's not going to work. Hold on a second. Yeah, this is actually cool to have these little microphones right here, and then you speak into it. I get why some YouTubers do that. It's just this little tiny ass microphone, and then you just speak into it. It's kind of fun, actually. Makes me feel important. All right, good enough is good enough. Good enough? Yes? Test? Okay, cool. Okay, good enough. And I'm grateful for my nose. I'm grateful for my eyes. I'm grateful that I can see. I'm grateful that I can use my hands. I'm grateful that I have access to my nervous system works. My central nervous system works. I'm grateful my autonomic nervous system works. I'm grateful that I can use the toilet just fine. I'm grateful that I can move my legs. I'm grateful to have movement in my body. I'm grateful that I get to work out and take care of myself every single day, because that's super important. I'm grateful that it's really quiet right now. I'm grateful for each and every breath I take. I'm grateful for how soothing EFT tapping is. I'm really grateful for the quality of this microphone, because the playback on it is really nice. What happened? I guess I gotta do extra. I'm grateful for the quality of this microphone, because the playback is really nice, and it does have this ASMR-like effect to it. I'm grateful I've been honest with myself. I'm grateful that I have been able to get 2 bachelor's degrees, a master's degree, and a doctorate degree. And I'm very grateful that I have understood that 2 bachelor's degrees, a master's degree, and a doctorate degree means shit. And I'm very grateful that I know that education or learning, that doesn't make you successful. And I'm very grateful that I see that certain things that I thought would bring success did not bring success. And I'm very grateful that I know that success is ultimately subjective and is based on perception. And I'm grateful that I'm learning how to just be content with where I am in life. Like, be okay with where I am. Yes, I do want more, sure. In terms of like impact and being able to, have a team of people, and we're doing something that really does help the world and help people at scale, sure. But here's where I am, and I'm okay with that. I'm grateful for God. I'm grateful that, hey, even though my relationship with God may not be the best, I'm doing my best to talk to God every single day, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for my angels. I'm grateful for the archangels. I'm grateful for whatever energy is out there looking out for me. I'm grateful that there is something that wants me here, and I'm very grateful for that, because I should not be here. I don't think I should be here. So I'm grateful that there's something that wants me here, which tells me that I have a purpose of some sort. And I'm grateful that the last YouTube channel that I had, I was able to grow it to 15,000 subscribers, and then I realized this is not who I am. And I'm grateful that I had the courage to just let it go. And I'm grateful that I have the endurance to say, or I have the courage in me to say, hey, I'm going to just start over. I'm okay to just start over from scratch. I'm okay because I have it in here. And I think that's actually the best thing, because now I know for sure, like, I can do it. And I'm very grateful for that. And I'm very grateful that I know that I can do it. I'm really grateful that I know that if I were to lose it all today, how would I get it back? I would do X, Y, and Z. And I know that. And I'm very grateful that I know my direction in life. I know my life operating system and like my true north. And I'm very grateful that I have my decision matrix. I'm very grateful that I know what matters to me. I'm grateful this is my life. I'm very grateful that my daughter has someone that's taking care of her, even if she's not with us. I'm very grateful that the custody removals happened, because this made me get here. And I'm very grateful that the traumatic situation of this custody removal was very intense. And I'm very grateful that I started thinking to myself, whenever bad things happen, like really bad things happen, it seems like there's some good that comes out of it. And I'm grateful that I can see that. And I'm grateful that even with being homeless years ago, I got to work through those things, and I got to learn about mental health and emotional well-being and self-help. And I don't know if I would have done that had I not had those experiences. And I'm very grateful that we were homeless, because had it not been for that, would I still be in that apartment? You get what I'm saying? So I'm very grateful for that. And I'm very grateful for the experiences that I had when I didn't have money for food. And I'm very grateful that that built a fire inside of me, that really put a fire inside of me. I'm very grateful that, the petty officers, the recruiting officers, lied to me when they did about the Navy SEAL contract. And I'm very grateful that I had that experience with going to the military. And I'm very grateful that, hey, look, I didn't make it as a Navy SEAL. I'm very grateful that I failed the swim test. I'm very grateful that I quit in the middle of that swim test, because I felt like I couldn't move. I felt like I was gassing up. And I'm very grateful, because that just showed me, hey, maybe I'm not up to the standards. Maybe I'm not up to those standards. And it's tough, but that's where I am. And I'm very grateful that, my body over the years has taken a beating with the exercise and the workouts. And I'm very grateful that I've learned to be more loving to my body and be kinder to my body as a result of that. I'm very grateful for the jobs that I've had. I'm very grateful that the jobs that I've had have taught me, oh man, number one, this is not for me. working jobs for people. And number two is I really got to put a lot of love into what I'm doing. I really do. And I'm very grateful that I see that having a job for me has always been a temporary thing. It's been a means to an end. And I'm very grateful that I went on this trading journey. I'm very grateful I went on this trading journey. And I'm very grateful that this trading journey really pushed me to the edge. I'm very grateful that right now I'm taking a break from trading because I'm essentially I'm mentally rehabbing from this traumatic episode, from this situation. And I'm very grateful that this situation, I hope, is leading to something really good. I'm very grateful that this was an experience, and I hope I never have it again. I really hope this never happens again because this was tough. And I'm really grateful for the pictures that we've taken of our daughter. And I'm very grateful when I hear how much Hema misses our daughter. I'm grateful we have a daughter together. I'm very grateful Hema's such a sweet soul. I'm very grateful and I feel very fortunate and lucky to have Hema. I'm very grateful that Hema is who she is. I'm very grateful that Hema's skin has healed up very well. And I'm very grateful that Hema is not at that place anymore where 2 years ago her skin was bleeding and had all these open sores because she had some maybe eczema or something like this. And I'm grateful that she's much better now, and I'm very grateful that she is warm. I'm very grateful that we switch rooms and she is in the basement and I'm up here because I would much rather me be cold than her and the baby be cold. So I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful that I know that hey, if I really move my ass, I think I can do something with this YouTube channel. I'm very grateful that I have that feeling inside. And I'm very grateful that I know hey, I've been at this a couple of times with YouTube, and I think I can do it. And I'm very grateful that I'm really focused on healing myself, and I'm very grateful that I'm focused on clearing that mental chatter. I'm very grateful that I know that the voices in my head are not something to call myself crazy or have a mental illness for, and I'm grateful that I know that the voices in my head are parts, IFS parts of me, or trapped emotions or echoes that have needed attention and that have needed healing. I'm very grateful for the sky. I'm very grateful for the sun. I'm very grateful for when the sun comes out. I'm very grateful we had a white Christmas. I'm very grateful that it was snowing on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, which is very rare. Here in this part of the country, I'm very grateful that we are in nature. I'm very grateful that we're isolated by a whole bunch of trees and forest, and I'm very grateful that the nearest neighbor is at least 10 minutes away by foot. So I'm really grateful for that. And I'm very grateful that I don't see people so much every single day. I'm very grateful that I did move out of New York City. I'm very grateful that I did make it out of Brooklyn. And I'm very grateful that I was born in New York City. I was born and raised in New York City. I'm very grateful that that's where I came from. And I'm very grateful that I am who I am. I'm grateful for every day. I'm grateful for every single time I get to sleep because I made it through the day. And I'm very grateful that I exercise, and I've been exercising and working out since I was 12, since that time where I was jumped. And I'm very grateful that I've changed my perception around working out. I'm very grateful I don't need to be motivated to work out. I'm very grateful that I am the type of person where I work out because it's who I am. I'm very grateful I've made exercising a habit. I'm very grateful I have made emotional hygiene a habit. I'm very grateful that I am doing my part to take care of my emotional health and well-being every day. I'm very grateful for the electrolyte powder that I ordered. I'm very grateful that I'm going to get the newer chroma key, and I'm going to start making shorts. And I'm very grateful that I get all this equipment and I get to learn how to use it, which for me, I think that's going to be pretty fun. And I'm very grateful that Hema did pick this place. I'm very grateful that I don't live in an apartment because I hate living in small spaces. I'm very grateful that we do live in a big open space. I'm very grateful that this house is pretty big, even though it feels like now there's not like much livable space and it's cold, but I'm very grateful for it. And I'm very grateful that for a 200 to 300 years old house, it held up pretty well. And I'm very grateful for being able to take care of my family financially. I'm very grateful for when, if God wills it, I can have a down payment on like 40 acres of land in Texas where it's warm, and I know it'll be warm throughout the winter because it's cold. It's cold up here on a mountain. And even though I'm very grateful to be living on a mountain, I'm very grateful to move somewhere where it's much warmer. And I'm very grateful for these wool socks. I'm very grateful for these Croc slippers because they're really comfortable. They're really comfortable. And I'm surprised about how comfortable they are. I see why. I'm very grateful for this OBS streaming software. I'm very grateful that it's free. I'm very grateful that it's like super advanced and there's so much that I can do with it. And I'm very grateful for the Stream Deck because I'm going to figure out how to switch scenes and build workflows. And I'm very grateful that I really enjoy working. I'm very grateful that I learned and I dedicated myself in this last 13 months to working with Notion and making that my number one go-to platform for creating for my systems and the shells and everything like this, and putting my life operating system on there. And I'm grateful that I also understand too to eventually build my own software. I'm grateful that I am going to be building my own software. I'm grateful for the Good Notes app, and I'm grateful that I've been taking notes. I'm very grateful that I think I'm going to sell my iPad, and I think maybe I keep it, I don't know, for like movies or something. I don't know. I'm very grateful for this huge LG widescreen monitor, which allows me to see like 2 monitors at once, which is very nice. It's very handy. I'm very grateful for the extension cord. I'm very grateful for the charging brick that I have because it charges up all my devices very easily. I'm very grateful for some of these new YouTubers that I'm seeing now that I'm a huge fan of their work. And I'm very grateful that they're making such cool stuff that, number one, I feel adequate, which it means I get to tap on it. And number two is I get to learn from them. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for my knees. I'm grateful for my joints. I'm grateful for my ligaments. I'm grateful for my tendons. I'm grateful for my heart. I'm grateful for my liver. I'm grateful for my kidney. I'm very grateful that I have all my body parts that I need. I'm grateful I have all my body parts that I need. I'm very grateful that I walk every single day. I'm very grateful that I I give myself a 1 week deload week every 4 weeks so that I can recover my muscles and my body, because it does get tiring to do those kettlebell farmer walks outside. And I'm very grateful that I can squat. I'm very grateful that I'm able to use my legs. I'm very grateful my back is sore. I'm very grateful I'm building up more muscle now. And I'm very grateful that I'm committing myself to that 300 workout, at least for this winter, so that my hands can heal. Because of the cold, I probably have like chilblains or something. And I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for food. I'm very grateful that I'm at a stage in my life right now where I eat every day. And I'm very grateful for that, because I remember a time where I was not. And I'm very grateful that, I get to eat every day. I'm very grateful for that. I remember times where, when we were homeless, my biological mother and I, because my father wasn't around, my biological father wasn't around, I did not have food. Didn't have food sometimes. So sometimes for like a couple of days, I wasn't eating. And I was like 11 or 12 years old. So that's pretty tough, but I'm grateful for that, because it taught me to really value food. And I'm very grateful for the YouTuber Mr. Beast. I'm very grateful to see some of his videos and see the charitable things that he does, and that puts a smile on my face. I'm very grateful that I can see someone like that in the world, and that they're doing charitable work, and that puts a smile on my face. And I'm very grateful that I pray. I'm very grateful I pray every day. I'm grateful that after this, I'm going to pray. And I'm very grateful that I'm just going to talk to God. I'm very grateful that there is no one watching this, and it's probably just between me and God. And I'm grateful for that. I'm very grateful that I learned about the bread of shame from the Kabbalah through David Guillaume. I'm very grateful I learned about the Kabbalah, because I thought that was like a cult thing or an evil thing. Maybe it is, I don't know, but I like the whole concept of having certainty and that it's just between you and God. And I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that there's a lot of people giving a lot of wisdom online. I'm very grateful that there's a lot of gold in the world. And I'm very grateful that there's a lot of richness. I'm very grateful that there's a lot of people that want to do their best. And I'm very grateful that there's people that just want to do what they can do and make their contribution. That's great. I'm very grateful we have clean water. I'm very grateful that we have hot water, clean running hot water. I'm very grateful that we have sinks. I'm very grateful we have bathtubs. I'm very grateful we have cleaning solutions so that I can, scrub down the toilet when there's shit stains on it. Or I'm very grateful that I have a snake where I can get out, all that hair that gets stuck in the drain in the bathtub. And I'm very grateful that I was sponsored and I was able to travel the whole fucking world. I'm grateful I was able to travel the whole entire world, do my bachelor's, master's, and doctorate. And I'm very grateful that I was able to write that dissertation. I'm very grateful for all the books that I was able to purchase and source and cite and reference when I did my dissertation all those years ago. I'm grateful that I'm now at 390 things that I'm grateful for. I'm very grateful that every single day I've been, for the most part, just acknowledging what I'm grateful for. I'm very grateful to do this practice. I'm very grateful that I started saying what I'm grateful for over 10 years ago now. And I think that it has changed my life for the better. I'm very grateful that I learned how to trade the financial markets. I'm very grateful that I'm taking a break from the financial markets so that I can clear my head and come back a little bit sharper and a little bit more wiser. And I'm very grateful that this traumatic experience from September has really affected me to the point where I couldn't focus on work. So now I have to do something creative to help my mental state. And I'm very grateful that I'm using this as my form of therapy. I'm very grateful that I can do live streaming to take care of my mental health, because I think this is a very good way to show my work and to show my progress from day 0 to day 1 to now. I'm grateful I've been streaming every single day. And I'm grateful that this is easy for me. I'm very grateful that I can do this every single day. I can legitimately EFT tap every single day for hours. And I'm grateful that I found something that I really enjoy doing. And I'm grateful that I'm really strongly considering and asking myself, how can I make an income with this and support people and take care of my family and do something that I enjoy and have it be fun all at the same time. And I'm grateful that I'm changing the beliefs that I have that, you have to do things for money that you don't like. And I'm grateful that I'm also changing the beliefs that if you do things that are fun or more spiritual based or more creative based, you can't get paid for it. So I'm grateful that I see and recognize those two contrasting ideas. And I'm grateful that I'm going to alchemize those ideas. I'm very grateful that I have a psychological operating system, which it's being transformed into an inner alchemy operating system. And I'm grateful that I'm going to sell that. I'm very grateful that I'm going to build my website very soon, and I'm very grateful that I'm going to sell that inner alchemy operating system. And I'm very, very grateful that I'm going to model it as a subscription so that people can come to the calls and I can build a community. And I'm very grateful that there's so many tools online. I'm grateful that there's so many freaking tools online. I'm very grateful for technology. I'm very grateful that technology has advanced to how it has, and that the internet has afforded me the opportunity to be here on a live stream, which is great. It's absolutely great. I'm very grateful that this thing is still going. I'm very grateful I'm still live streaming. I'm very grateful I'm still live streaming. I'm very grateful that eventually I will grow this. I'm very grateful that I'm going to make the shorts. I'm very grateful I'm going to make the videos. I'm very grateful that I'm planning out my playlist series. I'm very grateful that I'm studying how people do hooks and intros and outros and all these things. And I'm very grateful that I'm tailoring everything in such a way that it'll be pretty simple to do this repeatedly. And I'm very grateful that I understand YouTube's agenda, which is to keep people on the platform. And I'm very grateful that I'm understanding how to keep people on the platform. And I'm very grateful that if you think about it, I'm kind of like an employee of YouTube. I'm just getting commission. And I'm very grateful that I'm able to build my own business off of it. And I'm very grateful that even though I don't own YouTube, I'm very grateful YouTube has done all that heavy lifting and all that work. Google, thank you, because that makes my life easier. And all I have to do is just show up and just speak the message. And I'm very grateful that that's pretty much my goal, is to speak the message that God has given me to speak. I'm very grateful for this hat. I'm very grateful I have hair on my head. I'm very grateful I have a beard. I'm very grateful that my body feels good. I'm very grateful I'm 37, and I'm very grateful that even though I used to criticize myself saying I'm 37 and I'm not successful, I'm not anywhere I need to be, I can literally just now look at my YouTube channel and just see every single day all the stuff that I've done. And I'm very grateful that I'm making my definition of success now different from what I thought it was. And I'm very grateful that my definition of success is now going to include, hey, did I do at least one live stream today? And there we go. And that's good enough for me. Did I wake up at 4 a.m. and do my live stream? Yes or no? Check or no check? And I'm very grateful that I've been waking up every day at 4 for the last 2 months-ish. And I'm very grateful that I'm just going to do this every single day to be consistent. I'm very grateful that it doesn't end until I'm like in jail and all my equipment is taken away or I'm dead. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful that I know that I'm going to continue to do this every single day until I can't anymore. And I'm just going to continue to do this every day. I'm going to do this every single day, and I'm very grateful that I have that in me. And I'm very grateful that EFT tapping and psychedelics has helped me with that, to be very consistent. And I'm very grateful that I was not the type of person that was consistent, and I was inconsistent. And I'm grateful that now I am the type of person that is very consistent. I'm very grateful that this is a lot of stuff to acknowledge. I'm very grateful that there is an abundance of things to acknowledge. I'm very grateful for the material things that we have. And I'm also very grateful for the spiritual gifts that we have, the spiritual resources that we have access to. I'm very grateful for the spiritual resources we have access to. I'm very grateful. I'm just thinking about that book now by Dr. Wayne Dyer. There's a spiritual solution to every problem. And I'm very grateful that I know that there is a spiritual solution to every problem that I've ever faced. And I'm very grateful that I know that there is a spiritual solution to the problems that I'm currently faced with. And I'm very grateful for Sri Pritaji and Sri Krishnaji from ACOM. I'm very grateful for the Dasaji Upalaji. And I'm very grateful that they have reminded me that suffering is a choice. And I'm very grateful that they have reminded me to live my life from a very good, inner, and peaceful state. And I'm very grateful that I get to learn something from someone. You know, I'm grateful for being able to learn from others. And I'm very grateful that others can help me see things from a very different angle and a very different point of view. I'm very grateful that this live stream, I'm compiling so much that I can have a book written at some point. And I'm very grateful that I'm basically just, building a long-term asset. I'm very grateful that me 5 years from now is going to be very grateful that I did this. I'm very grateful for that. And I'm very grateful that, I could have been there maybe if 7 years, from the last time I did this YouTube channel. I started that in 2017. I'm very grateful that I did. And I'm very grateful that, hey, I realized I could have already been there by now. I could have been there by now. And I'm grateful that I'm not, because I'm grateful that I know that maybe I would have fucked it up anyway, because my nervous system was not regulated to handle it. And I'm very grateful that I am regulating my nervous system to handle great success. I'm so grateful that I am regulating my nervous system to handle massive success. I'm grateful I'm more than halfway done now with the tapping. What I'm grateful for, the 1,000 things I'm grateful for. I'm very grateful I decided to give this gift to myself. I'm grateful that this is my birthday gift to myself, actually. And I'm very grateful that I'm doing this. I'm very grateful that this is how I'm spending my morning. I'm very grateful that this key light is really nice and bright. And I'm very grateful that I'm alive. I'm very grateful that I don't really talk to my relatives because they can be very negative. And I'm very grateful that I wish them well. I'm grateful that I have no hard feelings towards them. I'm very grateful that I took ayahuasca in 2018, and the message that I saw through my third eye was me hugging each and every one of my relatives and them dissolving and me healing that hurt in my heart. And I'm very grateful that I did that. I'm very grateful that I went to Peru in 2018 and I took ayahuasca, and that really changed my life. And I'm very grateful that I have become so aware of my thoughts. I'm very grateful I've become so aware of how I feel. I'm very grateful I have become very aware of what I think. I'm very grateful that I have been making it my mission to stop everything that I'm doing whenever I get triggered, turn on the live stream, and just start tapping. And I'm very grateful that I'm building this library where I'm just tapping. I'm very grateful that I can dedicate this time right now to doing this. I'm very grateful that, maybe God has gifted me more time. I'm very grateful God has probably gifted me more time. And I'm grateful that I'm choosing to see this custody removal as God giving me time to realign to my truth. And I'm very grateful that, hey, I'm not a full-time day trader, because I think it would be worse to live life to where I am just making money and not making an impact in people's lives. And I'm very grateful that Garen Jones wrote that book, Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life. And I'm very grateful that he made that book. And I'm very grateful that God made a Garen Jones, because his story was really powerful. And I'm very grateful for that story, that moment in his life where Garen talked about in his book, he wrote in his book how he was broke and living out of his car, and someone stole his car, broke into his car, something happened, and he was so frustrated, he just cried out to God and he said, God, please, I just want to do something that is going to make an impact and it's going to pay me money and etc. And I'm very grateful that he said those words and he wrote that in that book, because that feels true to me. I'm grateful for Byron Katie's The Work. I'm very grateful that Byron Katie wrote that book, The Work, and I'm very grateful that I know that if I blame someone or something outside of me, I'm just talking about myself. And I'm very grateful that I can point one finger at someone, but I can point 3 fingers at me. And I'm very grateful that just one of my goals from 2025, none of my goals from 2025 came true. I'm grateful that in Q4 of 2024 last year, the one goal I had was to build my second brain, and I did, and it's in use. And I'm grateful that, hey, this is a work in progress. I'm grateful I realized I am a work in progress. I'm very grateful that I am a work in progress. I'm grateful that I have the shell of my personal brand operating system. I'm grateful that I'm going to re-download my resources for the personal brand operating system. And I'm very grateful that I created a GPT, my LifeOS GPT, to help me refactor the system. I'm very grateful that I'm going to have a complete checklist of everything that I want to have up on there. I'm grateful that this year I started building GPTs, and I'm very grateful that now I have a library of GPTs. I'm very grateful that now I have a library of agents, and I know how to use prompts, and I know how to connect prompts to the agents. And what agents are specific to what systems. And I'm very grateful that I've understood and I've studied that modeling and that hierarchy. And I'm very grateful that I started learning how to use automations and, building my own automation workflows to save me time. And I'm very grateful that eventually I'll get to the point where I can run this by myself as if it was a 30-person team. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful that this key light is really freaking good. I'm very grateful. Today is my birthday. I'm very grateful that I'm tapping on my birthday. I'm grateful that I feel like I'm accomplishing something by tapping. So that's pretty good. And I'm very grateful that my partner, Emma, is so sweet. I'm very grateful that we have electricity. I'm so grateful for electricity. I'm so incredibly grateful for electricity. I'm so grateful for the people that came before us. And I'm grateful that the people that came before us did all this fucking heavy ass work to make our lives what it is right now. And I'm grateful that I'm now doing that as well for others. I'm grateful that I get to do this work for others and leave this as a legacy in the future. And I'm very grateful that I get to leave this whole library of information. I'm very grateful that I'm only 37 years old right now, because I guarantee you in about 3 to 5 years, if I keep doing this every single day, this could be something pretty big. I'm grateful for someone like an Evan Carmichael as well, because I've seen how his persistence pays off. And I'm very grateful that maybe about 10 years ago, I sent a message to Evan Carmichael on either Facebook or Instagram, and he responded with it was Instagram. He responded with a video. I thought that was really cool. And I'm really grateful that his channel grew, because I remember there was a time where his channel was like super small, and now he's at like 4 million subscribers, which is great. And I'm very grateful that he just stuck with it. And I'm very grateful for Gary Vaynerchuk, because I can also see too how he just stuck with it and he just kept going and going and going. And I'm very grateful that, yeah, I see the importance of just sticking with it. Even if it goes down, just go down with it until the end. Just go until the end. And I'm very grateful for that. And I'm very grateful that this is going to be a library that I can show my kids. And I'm very grateful that I show them, and I will show them, hey, you have to take care of your emotional hygiene, take care of yourself, document the process, and just keep doing it. And I'm very grateful that, hey, maybe my kids did choose us as parents because maybe we do have something to give them. Maybe we're not useless, and maybe we have some value to give them. So I'm really grateful for that. And I'm very grateful that I'm figuring out how to use OBS. I'm very grateful for all the tutorials on YouTube. I'm very grateful for all the YouTubers that post up all this content about like how to use certain tools and things. It's very helpful. And I'm very grateful that like anything that I want to learn today, I could just do it from home. Like, think about that. I'm so grateful that we're no longer in like the 90s or the early 2000s, for example, where you had to go to a fucking library and rent a book. Either go to Barnes and Noble, like a bookstore, buy the book, or you had to rent a book from the library. Who the fuck has time for that? Who has time for that? And I'm very grateful that we are in this era that we're in, because I can read any book now. I can learn anything now. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. I just have to be really, just have to be really focused and motivated and just stay with it. And I'm very grateful that I understand that. And I'm very grateful that I started reading this book called Pound the Stone with Joshua Metcalf, written by Joshua Metcalf. And I'm very grateful that I read his first book, Chop Wood, Carry Water. And I'm very grateful for the message of that book about the kid that wanted to be like an archer, a samurai archer or something like this. I'm very grateful for light. I'm very grateful for the sun, because when it's sunny outside, it's warm. I'm very grateful that it's already, I don't even know what time it is. It doesn't matter what time it is. Okay, I'm grateful that it's 5:50 in the morning. I'm very grateful that it's 5:50 in the morning and I've already tapped on 613 things that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that OBS has plugins. I'm very grateful that I'm gonna get myself a vidIQ subscription and very likely a Pixels subscription. And I think that'll cover the thumbnails and the titles. And I'm very grateful for these tools because fuck, I don't have time to be spending my life creating thumbnails, you know? And I would pay someone to create thumbnails, but man, that's gonna get fucking expensive. That's gonna be like quite a bit of money after a while. And I'm very grateful. I'm grateful that these AI thumbnail generators exist now, because it's probably gonna be really easy. I hope it's gonna be easy to generate thumbnails. And I'm very grateful that I'm also gonna get the AI slides generator, so that way I can just copy slides and create content like a factory, because it's really just about keeping people on YouTube. And I'm grateful that I understand that. And I'm grateful that I'm already building a system. I think that's for me, that's my secret sauce, is I just have a system. That's it. You know, I'm very grateful that I think that's my secret sauce, is the system. And I'm grateful that I also know too that I'm gonna have a system created for, or a working procedure created for building community. So I think those will be the secret sauces: system and community. And because anyone can make thumbnails now with an AI thumbnail generator, that's pretty simple to do. But now the real trick is, do you have a system? Do you have a working procedure? Do you have automations to make the thing go faster for you? So I'm grateful that I see that. And I'm very grateful that I know that if it's true that the YouTube algorithm is changing and it's being powered by Google Gemini, then I'm very grateful that I know that the truth is that the words that I use, it's gonna matter for search rankings and showing up as number one. So I'm just gonna make sure to just speak everything that I can on my subject, and I'm just gonna do the best that I can to dominate. And I'm gonna make sure that my system is good to go, and I'm gonna make sure that I study the analytics. And I'm very grateful that I had the experience with trading, because now I get to take the things that I learned from trading and the analytics and the emotionless aspect of it and apply that to YouTube. And I'm very grateful that I also am applying the stuff on mental health and emotional well-being and applying that here. So I get to show myself, I get to show my personality, I get to show my lack of charisma, and I get to apply that now over here. So I'm really grateful for that. And man, this is a good key light. I'm really grateful I got this. I'm very grateful that the key light came yesterday. I'm very grateful that it was so easy and simple to set up. I'm very grateful that there was no like, how the fuck do I set this thing up? I'm very grateful that there's a little heat source that I have here that is warming my hands and my feet, which is nice. I'm very grateful that this one heat source is just heating up this one little area because it's cold. It's cold. I'm very grateful that I think I'm attractive. I'm very grateful that I'm going to give myself a haircut. I'm very grateful. Yeah, I'm very grateful I think I'm attractive. I'm very grateful I think I look fairly good. I'm very grateful that I take care of my body the best that I can. I'm very grateful that I don't drink alcohol. Not that there's anything wrong with that for some people, but for me, that's not for me. And I'm very grateful that I don't smoke cigarettes because that's not for me. And I don't judge because I also take hape. I ingest hape. I blow hape, which is tobacco that grows from the Amazon, that is created from the shamans and the tribes, like the Nukini tribe or the Matsis tribe in the Amazon. I'm grateful for all this wood. I'm grateful that we live in an area where there's cows, and I'm very grateful that it's really quiet up here. I'm very grateful that I'm not in New York City, because I cannot stand the honking and the fucking movement and all the speed. It's too much. And I'm very grateful that this is a much slower pace of life. And I'm very grateful that I get to breathe a little bit deeper here. I'm very grateful that I breathe in some very fresh air. I'm so grateful that we're now having these 2 kids. I'm very grateful to be a dad. I'm really grateful to have children. I'm very grateful to hold my daughter. I'm very grateful I get to see my daughter this weekend, even if it's just for an hour and a half. I'm very grateful that Hema's parents are very likely going to have custody of Soraya. I'm very grateful I love my daughter. I'm very grateful she puts a smile on my face. I'm grateful I get to hug her soon. I'm grateful for when I do get to hug her. I'm grateful for when I do get to love her. Oh. I'm grateful that this is my job. I'm grateful that my job is to take care of my health and well-being, document it, and do the best that I can to be of service to someone. And I'm very grateful that I get to be of service to someone. Just one person. That's fine. Or maybe more people. I don't know. I'm very grateful for this energy that I feel. I'm very grateful I feel this excitement. I'm very grateful I feel excited. I'm very grateful that I really enjoy doing YouTube or, doing this stuff. And I'm very grateful that I get to do it. I'm very grateful that I get to do this. I'm very grateful that I have this time to do this. I'm very grateful I'm building my brand. I'm very grateful that I'm doing this live stream every day. I'm very grateful I have a flywheel ready to go very soon for shorts and for videos. And I'm very grateful that I'm just really logistically planning out everything here. I'm very grateful for my teeth. I'm very grateful that even though I do have gap teeth, at least I have teeth. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that this light is really bright. I'm very grateful that this light is very bright. I'm grateful winter is already here. I'm grateful winter is only 12 weeks at best. I'm grateful for these sweatpants. I'm grateful for my sweaters. I'm grateful I did not pay retail for any of those sweaters because fuck that. I'm grateful that I started just buying secondhand clothing because it just works. There's no rips. It's in good condition, and I pay significantly less. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful that I'm gonna check to see later if there is a Mac Studio Ultra that I can buy used, so I don't have to pay full price for it. And I'm very grateful. I'm grateful I am doing my best to be resourceful. I'm grateful that I am resourceful enough. I'm grateful that I was able to save cash this year for the lawyer because, I didn't know that we would need a lawyer, but hey, I'm grateful that we had cash saved so that we could pay for a lawyer. And I'm very grateful that the lawyer that we did hire was able to help us shift gears because we were really angry. And I'm grateful that, hey, if my daughter goes with Hema's parents for right now and they have custody over for her, they have custody of our daughter, at least for right now, we get to see her more often. And I'm very grateful that I'm just going to do my best to build this channel and hopefully have some people that vibe with me and maybe get some clients or something. Or probably better, maybe I build it up so that it's big enough to where I can just sell that inner alchemy thing as a subscription and then I have recurring cash. That would be really nice. I'm very grateful that I understand to build a YouTube channel like in increments of 10 videos by playlist. I'm grateful for Nate Black, the YouTuber, because I'm studying his content and he's got some really good content. And I'm very grateful that I get to study how he's doing certain things. And I'm very grateful that I'm studying and I'm just becoming a student of the game. I'm just a student of the game right now for these things. And I'm very grateful that at least for right now, if I can focus my energy on something constructive and not be in a negative state, then that could help me significantly. I'm grateful that my spirit team, my spirit guides have always looked after me somehow, for some reason. I'm very grateful for God. I'm very grateful that I started really to believe in God, and I'm grateful that, like, I don't hate God. I'm very grateful that, yeah, there was a time where I was very upset with God, and I was like, God doesn't exist. But after seeing some of these experiences that I've had, I can't help but think there has to be God, because there's no way that I should have made it here. And I'm very grateful for that. And I'm very grateful for good music. I'm very grateful for good company. I'm very grateful for fun people. I'm very grateful for good people that I feel good in their presence, and hopefully they feel good in mine. I'm grateful for hugs. I am very grateful now that I am expanding my vessel to hold more of the light of God. I'm so very grateful that I am expanding my vessel. I'm very grateful that my daughter's okay. I'm very grateful that my daughter is so strong. I am very grateful that my daughter was born when she was. I am very grateful that I could not see my daughter for a couple of months, and that was hard for me. And I'm very grateful that Hema had the opportunity to just be a full-time mom. I'm really grateful for that. And I'm very grateful that I'm looking forward to when my children get older. I'm very grateful for when I can talk to my kids and they can talk back to me and we can have conversations. I'm very grateful that I love my kids. I'm very grateful to be a father. I'm very grateful I grew up without a father because I know how important that is. And I'm very grateful that I'm here. I'm very grateful I am who I am. I'm very grateful this is my life. I'm grateful this is where I'm going. I'm grateful that I'm motivated. I'm grateful that I'm inspired. I'm grateful I don't need external motivation. I'm grateful that I'm really learning how to be internally motivated and inspired because I have it inside. And I'm grateful for EFT tapping. I'm grateful that doing this tapping has helped me relax and calm down my nervous system. I'm very grateful that I've been able to change a lot of beliefs and a lot of the feelings that I've used to feel. I am very grateful it's quiet. I'm really grateful it's so quiet right now. I'm grateful I'm at 770 things that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for every breath I take. I'm grateful that my family is in very well. And I'm grateful that Hema is so peaceful and wise and beautiful and loving and sweet. And I want to do more for her. I want to do the best that I can for her. I want to do the best that I can for her and for us and for my kids. I'm grateful Hema did introduce me to cryptocurrency, and I'm grateful that Hema did have the courage to learn about these things, and I'm grateful that Hema was convincing enough for me to give her my retirement money. And I'm grateful that even though she invested it into bullshit coins, into shit coins that did not do anything, I'm very grateful that she did, and that she had the courage to do that, and the courage and enough confidence, maybe arrogance, maybe stupidity to do it, but she did it, and she took a risk. And I'm very grateful that she took a risk. I'm grateful she is the type of person that is okay taking risks. I'm very grateful for the sound of this tapping. I'm grateful for whoever started that trend of ASMR. I'm very grateful that ASMR is a thing, and EFT tapping and ASMR go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly. I'm grateful that for Christmas we watched Home Alone 2, I think. And I'm grateful that on Christmas Eve we watched Home Alone 1. I'm very grateful we got a Christmas tree. And I'm very grateful that it's really warm in that basement. I'm very grateful that that basement went from being the coldest room in the house to now being the warmest. And I'm very grateful we have a printer. I'm very grateful that I'm here at the top floor anyway, because the internet is so good. The internet is so good. And I'm really grateful for the silence. I'm grateful I have a treadmill desk. Oh. I'm very grateful that after this I'm going to drink some water. I'm grateful I'm going to do a light workout. I'm grateful I'm going to do some squats. I'm grateful that I'm going to do some push-ups. I'm grateful I'm strong enough to do push-ups. I'm grateful I'm strong enough to do squats. I'm grateful I'm flexible enough to touch my toes. I'm grateful for the boots that I have. I'm grateful that mama eats every day. I'm grateful I get to cook a homemade meal for our dog, mama. I'm grateful that mama is always looking forward to catching that stick. I'm grateful that I get to throw that stick for mama every day. And I'm grateful that she likes it. And I'm grateful that there's only 190 things left to tap on and acknowledge that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for these USB-C cords. I'm grateful that they have USB-C and it's becoming more of a thing, because what the fuck? USB-A, USB micro, USB-C, come on, man. And I'm grateful that the USB-C, like, it doesn't matter what direction you turn it in, it goes into the port. I'm grateful technology has advanced. I'm grateful that it's advancing much faster now. I'm grateful that I think the year 2050 is going to be, whoa, it's going to be super different. It's going to be super different than how it is and during any other recorded time period in history. I'm grateful for my bones. I'm grateful I have strong, dense bones. I'm grateful for my fingernails. I'm grateful for my body's ability to heal very quickly. I'm grateful for this trading book that I read a couple of years ago that inspired me. And it was about a trader called Nicholas Darvis. A trader whose name was Nicholas Darvis, and he turned $10,000 into $2 million in 18 months. And I'm grateful for every psychedelic ceremony that I've ever had. I'm grateful for the magic mushrooms. I'm grateful for Kambo. I'm grateful for Hape. I'm grateful for Senenga. I'm grateful for ayahuasca. I'm grateful for iboga. I'm grateful for bufo. I've never taken bufo, and I'm very curious about that. And I'm very grateful that, hey, if I do get deported, I'm very likely going to go to Mexico and take bufo. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm very grateful that I'm also going to research that YouTube video that I saw about that little center, the little clinic in Mexico where people take bufo. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm very grateful for my ears. I'm very grateful for my tongue. I'm very grateful that I can speak. I'm very grateful I can hear. I'm very grateful I can see very clearly. That's a gift. It's not to be taken for granted. I'm grateful for my relatives. I'm grateful for where I came from. I'm grateful that I had 2 cousins who were twins, and they were autistic. And I'm grateful for that because, number one, they're always going to be, even if they're adults, they're going to be with the mind of a child. And I'm grateful for that because it just reminds me, like, hey, what you have is a gift. And I'm very grateful for that. And I'm very grateful that I can share these messages with people. I'm very grateful that I can say, hey, look, life is short, time is precious, value yourself, value your time, value who you are, because it goes fast. And I'm very grateful that I understand that for myself. I'm very grateful that I'm doing the best that I can to honor my life and to honor God. And I'm very grateful that God has given me this opportunity to do this. I'm very grateful that God has gifted me the opportunity to live this life that I'm living right now. And I'm very grateful that I'm doing everything I can in my power to figure this out. I'm very grateful that I'm doing everything I fucking can do in my power to figure this out. I'm very grateful for this Mother Mary statue. I'm very grateful for the cash that I always had access to. I'm very grateful that the homelessness and growing up in Brooklyn, it was so much poverty that I just really appreciate, and I'm very grateful for cash. Yes, even though I'm aware that it's part of a monetary system which could be enslaving a lot of people, sure, no problem. But I'm still grateful for it because I understand the impact that it does have on people. And I'm very grateful for the build quality of this desk, which is really, really nice. And I'm very grateful that this is a very strong, solid desk. I'm very grateful my gear's on here, my equipment. And I'm very grateful for the sounds of this tapping. I'm very grateful for the sound of this tapping. I'm very grateful that I brush my teeth every day. I'm very grateful that I have a foam roller so I can foam roll. I'm very grateful that I have this thing where I can train my wrist. I'm very grateful that I have a lacrosse ball so I can do like pressure point, self-myofascial release. Oh. Wow. I'm grateful that this is a long live stream. I'm grateful that I started live streaming this year. And that wasn't even on my radar. And I'm very grateful that in the beginning of the year, I thought about taking an EFT course because I wanted to learn more about EFT tapping. And I'm very grateful that I did get the level 1 and level 2 EFT tapping certification. And I'm grateful that now I'm just EFT tapping for myself. I'm grateful that I've been EFT tapping since 2018 on and off. I'm grateful that I finally finished that EFT Tapping for Wealth book by, I think her name is Margaret Lynch. And I'm grateful that I got that book probably in 2015 and finished it, I think this year or something, or late last year, one of the two. But I'm grateful that I finally finished that book. I'm very grateful that I have a whole library of books. And I'm very grateful that I've read maybe about 40% of those books. I'm very grateful there's so much information. I'm grateful there's so much content out there in the world right now, and a lot of it's free. I'm very grateful for this key light. I'm very grateful that this key light it's really bright. And this is at like 20% only. And man, I'm grateful. I feel a little bit tired. I'm grateful that I'm almost at the finish line. I'm grateful I have a strong immune system. I'm grateful I have a very strong immune system. I'm very grateful that the mouse traps work. I'm very grateful that we got a much bigger compost. I'm grateful today we're going to do groceries. I'm very grateful we have cash on our card to do groceries. Because, oh man, that's one of those feelings that absolutely sucks. And I know that. And I'm grateful that we have a grateful giving jar. And I'm very grateful that Hema has given some things from that grateful giving jar. I'm grateful that I'm going to be expanding that grateful giving jar because I actually do like the giving. And I'm very grateful that I'm going to find charities that are legitimate and give. I'm very grateful for that person who created that organization that talks about the child custody removals of multiple parents in the EU, especially in Germany and Austria, because it is important to really expose what's going on here. And that there is a system that is, I think, out of control, and they're really abusing their authority. And I'm grateful that I see that. And I'm very grateful for that experience as well, that all these people were involved in removing custody from our daughter for a non-life-saving surgery. I'm very grateful that I see the importance of being really humble and not taking your authority for not abusing your authority, basically, because that's very destructive and that damages people. And I'm very grateful that I understand that moving forward, if I were to be in such a position of authority, to be in a very calm, grounded, and peaceful state. And I'm very grateful that I understand the importance of family. I'm very grateful that I've seen from this year especially, like how family became such a big thing for me. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful I get to see my family every day. I'm grateful that we live under the same roof. And I'm very grateful that my family is well. And I'm grateful that we're together. And I'm very grateful that I am out of status here in Austria. And I did file for asylum because hey, if there's a time, if I do get deported and there's a time where I don't see my family, at least I got to spend time with them. And I'm very grateful that, hey, at least, you know what, maybe I can take this show on the road and build the channel from there while being abroad. And I'm just going to look at it from the most positive place possible. And I'm very grateful that my hands are cold and it's getting hard to really close my hands. And I'm very grateful I'm getting towards the end of this. I'm grateful that this was actually an interesting experience to say what I'm grateful for 1,000 times. I'm grateful that the inspiration came from Mr. Beast. I'm grateful I get to be grateful. I'm grateful I get to say what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that I get to feel grateful in my heart. And I'm very grateful that I'm doing this. I'm very grateful that I'm doing this. And I am very grateful for all the blessings, miracles, and gifts of today. I'm very grateful we have a car. Yes. I'm very grateful we have a car, and I'm very grateful that we have snow tires, winter tires on that car. I'm very grateful that I was saving up cash, and I'm very grateful that we were able to buy a car and get that car. And I'm very grateful that we got the car when we did, because we absolutely 100% needed a car. And I'm very grateful that God is always looking out for us. I'm very grateful that I feel really lucky. I'm very grateful I feel very lucky and very fortunate. I'm very grateful for all the YouTubers that are available now, and I like their content, and their content is cool. And I'm very grateful that, I'm going to be batch recording and batch creating content. Oops. Ow. I'm grateful there's only 48 more things to be grateful for. I'm grateful that this is like a week's worth of gratitude for me in one live stream session. I'm grateful that YouTube has that feature where I can see potential topics, which is cool. And I'm very grateful for all the YouTubers that basically copy each other, because I can see templates and I can see what works, and I can put that into my system and have a cheat code basically for figuring out what titles are good or what titles are not good. And I'm grateful that I'm building that up. I'm grateful I'm very much building that up. I'm grateful for my lips. I'm grateful for my eyebrows. I'm grateful for every muscle. I'm grateful for every workout that I've ever had. I'm grateful that these workouts have pushed me. I'm grateful that I get older and I get wiser. I'm grateful that I feel like I'm in pretty good health and pretty good shape. And I'm very grateful that I'm very likely going to get a second monitor and then be able to switch between sitting and standing and walking on the treadmill, because it is not good to sit down for hours and hours and hours. And I would much rather be walking, so I could be walking while I do my work. And I'm grateful that I'm going to figure out, hey, if there's a good alternative here that I can use. Yeah, I'm very grateful for technology and how far it's come. And I'm very grateful that I get to do this. I'm very grateful I get to just literally tap and make content. I'm very grateful I get to tap and live stream. I'm very grateful that this is what I'm doing right now. I'm very grateful that I have the opportunity to do this. I'm very grateful that I have the opportunity to build this channel, and I'm grateful I get the opportunity to build a personal brand, which wasn't a thing before, many years ago. And I'm very grateful that I understand the importance of building a personal brand. I'm very grateful for YouTubers like an Ali Abdal or a Brenda Turner. I'm very grateful I get to study their content. I'm very grateful that it's just about executing now. I'm grateful that I am developing my secret sauce with editing, and I'm grateful that I'm designing my YouTube videos in such a way where there's zero post editing for me, or near zero post editing for me, because I remember last time I would spend like 8-9 hours editing a video, which is insane. And I'm very grateful that I'm just gonna make sure that I just edit live through OBS and the Stream Deck. And I'm very excited and I'm very grateful for the Stream Deck. And I'm very grateful that there were YouTubers that I watched that were talking about how to create a vibe on YouTube. I'm very grateful that it's already 6:30. Shit. I'm very grateful that I'm going to get a little workout in and stretch. I'm grateful that I have hand gloves. I'm grateful for my coat. Oh man, I'm so grateful to have a winter coat. I'm so grateful to live in a house that has multiple floors. And I'm grateful that this room that I'm in is literally bigger than like a majority of an apartment in New York City. And I'm grateful that this is done. Thanks. Okay. Wonderful. Now that that's done, it's time to move on with the day. I hope you found some value out of this. It's cold, and I gotta work out, and I gotta give myself a haircut, and I gotta trim my beard, and I'm gonna take care of myself, and I'm gonna do some things to love myself, because today is my 37th birthday. If you are interested in doing a live stream EFT, you are more than welcome to come to tomorrow's live stream and tap with me. Just when I'm on, you can, oh no, wait, tomorrow we're doing Ho'oponopono. So strike that. It's actually going to be the 1st of January. Damn, this year's already done. Went by so fast. Come to tomorrow's live stream. We're going to tap with Ho'oponopono. And we're going to do this. All right? Have a good day. And let's wrap up with a prayer, actually. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Forgive our debtors as we forgive our debts. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive our trespassors. Forgive our trespassers as we forgive our trespasses. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Thank you, God, for this day, and thank you, God, for all the blessings, miracles, and gifts of this day. Thank you, God, for our lives. Thank you, God, for our families. Thank you, God, for love. Thank you, God, for kindness. Thank you, God, for filling us with so much grace. And thank you, God, for sharing this video, this live stream with whoever is meant to see it. Thank you. All right, that's it for today. Come back tomorrow if you enjoyed it, if you had found some value in this. And yeah, see you then.